Hello, this is Jenny at Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I have another card for you that is part of my Christmas card and craft series. And today I am working with some papers I made last week. So I did an art journal page with alcohol inks. And when I was done getting the one I wanted, I had lots of leftover. And this is just a little video of some of the extra prints I created with my alcohol ink. I ended up with 6 prints, one I used in my art journal page, and one I will be using to create the card today. This is the one I will be using to create the card today. This actually started out as the first alcohol page. It's the first piece of Yupo paper that I put alcohol ink on as I was trying to get to that smushy effect that I used to create the background for my art journal page last week. So here's a little flip through of the pages I created, and I have already started cutting down the one I'm going to use for my card today. My art journal page last week was a take on the Northern Lights, and that's what I'm going to do again as well. I have trimmed this paper down, and I will keep that other piece for another project. And I am going to just start by adhering this piece of Yupo paper right onto a card base. So that card base is a regular standard US A2 card. It is 4¼ inches wide by 5½ inches tall. And I will be adding this cutout. So I created this cutout on my Cricut machine, and it's just a picture of a snowy hill with a bear and some trees and kind of an oval shaped cutout. And it was just really easy to plop together on my Cricut. But I have cut it out of a kind of shimmery glitter paper. And I'm just going to put that right over the top of this alcohol ink background. And what you can see through the opening is that kind of silver, green, yellow, a little bit of the magenta, and it does give that Northern Lights effect. This is probably one of the fastest cards I've made because I did all the prep work before. I do want to put a sentiment on this, and I have this stamp set from Mama Elephant. It's a few years old, and it's not new, but it does have a sentiment that says sparkle and shine. And with the shiny from the Yupo paper and the alcohol ink and the shiny from the glitter paper, the glimmer paper that I cut the image out of, I thought it was kind of a perfect sentiment. So I will go ahead and put this sentiment into my MISTI with a piece of scrap paper that was just on my desk. I have lots of pieces of scrap paper on my desk right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I am going to place that in my MISTI, and then I will ink it up with some VersaFine Clair. This is the Nocturne black ink. And I am really loving this ink for stamping, especially solid image stamps. It does a really good job. It might be my new favorite, even though VersaFine is kind of my unofficial favorite. This might be edging in there to become my favorite. So the sentiment is all stamped, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it down. I want to trim it into a little rectangle, and I thought for a minute I would pull out my dies. I didn't do that. It probably would have been easier because I wanted to trim this really close, because I also want to add a little bit of a background to it, or a mat to it. And it would have been a lot easier just to pull out my sentiment strip dies that I finally broke down and ordered from Simon Says Stamp. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that, because trying to trim this, I think this is actually the longest part of the whole card, was trying to trim the sentiment strip down, for real. Once I get that all lined up and I can trim it down with my trimmer, I am going to put that on a mat, like I said. I have a piece of that same green cardstock that the card base is made out of that I will go ahead and mat it before I put it down on the card front. I really should have skipped this. This is ridiculous, y'all. Sorry. I should have edited this part out. But whatever. So here is the green paper I am going to mat the sentiment with. I am going to just take my ATG tape runner and put some tape on the back, some double-sided adhesive on the back, and line it up in the corner on the left side and the bottom left. And then I'll just trim that down with my paper trimmer. Forgot what that was called for a second. And again, this is The reason I didn't use the dies is because this is so easy, but trimming that sentiment out was a little bit tedious. I like this trimmer because I can see where the wire is and exactly where it's going to cut. I hate this trimmer because the blades, I cut so much with it that I'm constantly changing the blades. I am not very good at doing detail work with my guillotine trimmer. I'm going to go ahead and pull my ATG gun out and just add some adhesive to the back of that sentiment and add it on. And other than the liner on the inside of the card, it's finished. A cool thing about alcohol inks is once you start, you just can't stop. You always end up making a whole bunch of papers just because it's so much fun to play with. And you better have a good time playing because you're going to have alcohol ink on your fingers forever and ever and ever. I still have alcohol ink on my fingers. Here are some photographs of that card. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I love how it turned out. I'm super into Northern Lights. It is definitely on my to-do list. I have added a couple videos here for you to watch and a subscribe button. If you have not already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a fabulous day.